What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about wax seals. So what's the deal with wax seals? Do we need them? Do we want them? Is it necessary? Well, yes, not necessarily, but kinda, yeah. Wax seals are literally what they sound like. They are wax seals. So, back in the old day, kings and those of high, ranking, used to seal all their letters with wax and then imprint it with their family crest or, their job title, something like that. Most of them had rings, like signet rings or something like that, I think they're called, that they would press into the wax, make their mark, their seal, and then send the letter so that the recipient would know that it hadn't been tampered with because the wax was brittle, so it would crack once you opened it. In today's modern society with the postal system, that's no bueno because it's going to crack and just disintegrate in the modern mail system because a lot of it is electronic, so it just gets fed through machines. So that's not good. But we do now have things called Supple Wax. So I can kind of get a little closer. This is something more of a traditional type wax seal, and that when you kind of bend it, it bends a little bit, but if you bend it too far, it will crack. Whereas something like this is made out of something called Supple Wax. This is Gerbon, which you will see me actually pour this one and this one very shortly. It is supple, so you can literally bend it in half and it's not going to break or, crumble. You can bend it either way. And this puppy ain't going nowhere. So it's really great for our modern postal system because then when you send it somewhere, it's gonna get there intact and it's still gonna look as beautiful as when you first poured it. I really like putting wax seals on my envelopes, my letters, my cards, basically anything that I give to anybody because it's a little unique. Like nobody really gets it anymore. You can really individualize it with your own stamp. You can get like crazy amount of stamps. You can get just like the ones that I used here, which just has my first initial. You can get ones with phrases, pictures, sayings. You can get like all kinds of stuff, and it's really cool. Like I said, with a flexible wax now, the sky's the limit as far as what you want to do. You could put it at the end of your letter, then wrap it up and put that in the envelope. You could seal the actual envelope with it. So I'm going to hide my address here, but this is the letter I'm about to send out. And as you can tell, I have that seal there. And I know when it gets to where it's going, it's still going to be, good to go. This one is actually heading to the States very shortly. So I know it's still going to be, beautiful when it gets there. And it gives kind of a really nice hand touch to your letters. I mean, letters in general, now if you write a hand letter, it's like way better. But just adding that extra thing on top. It's kind of like, the cherry on top of your sundae. Sundaes are great anyways, but the cherry is just that extra little bit. So I really, really enjoy it. Is it going to be for everybody? Absolutely not. Because it takes time, and it's going to take time to get used to it. You're definitely going to need to practice a little bit with how much wax to put on the page before you stamp it. But I mean, I think it's worth it. You do need tools, obviously. So this is just one of the types of things you'll see. So you've got the seal here and a handle. They do separate. So you will need, obviously, a stamper of some sort. And then, of course, you'll need some wax. So there's multiple kinds of wax. Like I said, there's some, that are flexible, some that are non-flexible. There's also some with like kind of wicks on them like this. This is that red one, by the way, that I use. It's not flexible. And then there's some with no wicks on it. like this Atelier Gargoyle one. Probably the most popular is the Gerbin Supple Wax. This is the wax that I first used when I got into it. They're just little sticks like this. And these ones are really cool. Like I said, this blue one that I just showed you here, that was Gerbin, and it works beautifully. I also have these little guys here. So these are basically like ink stamps, gold and silver. So you put your stamper in here first before you stamp your wax, and that's why these have kind of like a golden shimmer in the middle, and this one doesn't, because I used the seal here, or the stamp there, and not on the other one. And obviously, you know, you need like a heat source, whether it's a candle, lighter, anything like that. So you do need some tools to do it. I also show you, there's some wax in here still, a couple different methods of making a seal. My favorite is the spoon method. It's not the quickest, but it's my favorite, where I put the spoon over top of the candle and I melt the wax into the spoon. I feel like I get much more control this way. So that's, you know, why I prefer doing that. Like I said, there is also the drip method. Spoiler, I'm not really a fan of the drip method here. But, I mean, yeah, you can do pretty much anything. I just have them in a little box. But I really, really enjoy it. Cost-wise, it's really not that expensive, especially once you already have the tools. You know, the waxes themselves are about $5 to $6. And depending on the size of your stamps, I like to make really fat, juicy ones. But, you know, a lot of people will just make like smaller ones like this. So depending on how much wax you use will depend on how many stamps that you can make with that. But I mean, like I said, just depending on the kind of wax that you want. I get anywhere from like 6 to like 20 stamps with these, depending, like I said, on how meaty I want to get with mine. And even the method. The spoon method will use more wax than, you know, just dripping and like smearing it. But like I said, that's just what I prefer to do. Plus, I don't send letters all the time, so I like to do it the way I do it. So you're looking at about $5 or $6 for the individual stamp. As far as seals go, that's gonna be random. You can buy seals anywhere, so you're pretty much gonna look between like $10 to infinity, depending on if it's custom, if it's anything. Like if you get just like the pre-made kind of jobs here, chances are you're gonna get the seal and the handle at the same time. So you're gonna be looking anywhere between like $16 to $20. But like I said, if you get like custom made ones, or ones that aren't just kind of like factory stamped, then you're going to be probably paying more. Like I did get a holiday, stamp done. So, you know, that one was a little bit more because it was a specially made, but they're not really that expensive to get into. I mean, these little guys I picked up off of Amazon for $1. You know, so they're not going anywhere. The only thing that I'm definitely gonna like say to caution you guys on is make sure you get something called the Supple Wax. Don't get traditional wax unless you're not planning on sending it through the postal system. If you get traditional wax, it will crack and it's gonna just look terrible. So just make sure you get Supple Wax. One kind of weird thing I'll do is that if I've been doing multiple wax seals, which I've just done about 6 of them now, and I have leftover wax in my spoon. I've got about half a spoon here, and I'm done now with my wax. So what I will do is actually keep this wax here. I'll keep it here because it'll get hard and solid, so that when I make wax seals the next time, I can either reheat up this blue and either add more blue to it or use it as a smaller seal. Or what I will do is add in a different color and kind of like mix it around. So like, oh, that's my garbage. Sorry, guys. So like what I was showing you before, this one is a mix of obviously like a red and kind of like a silvery gray. This is actually a mix of three. It's a mix of silver, blue, and red. So I think it makes for a really interesting seal when it's all mixed together like that. So that is why I like to keep the wax left over in my spoon. If it's empty, then I'll just wipe it away with a paper towel and it'll be clean, and I can use it for the next time. But if it's full like that, I do like to keep it. Otherwise, if you're only making like one or two seals, it's really not worth it to kind of like go the spoon method. But I usually, when I do mine, I save them all up until I have like 4 or more to do, because typically when just to pull out all of my wax seal stuff for one seal is a little bit much. But that's how I like to keep my wax.